Hi, my name is Matt Pieri and I'm a disabled entrepreneur.
Hi, I'm Carly Jones and I'm a disabled entrepreneur.
Hi, I'm Beth Kim Holland and I'm a disabled entrepreneur.
Hi, my name is Richard Talbot Jones.
Hello, I'm Seema Flower.
So I'm Jane Rockwell.
I am Dr. Joanna Baker-Rogers and I am an entrepreneur with a disability.
I'm a full-time wheelchair user and I had a spinal cord injury when I was 16. For me, there's definitely been a big learning curve around disability because I acquired a disability partway through my teenage years. And so I have a very, I think, important appreciation for how people have never thought about disability. Because until I was, disabled myself, I admit that I had never ever thought about this.
I was diagnosed as being autistic at 32 in 2014. I was aware that I was different from probably 4, and that was after my daughter's diagnosis. So once, I've got 3 daughters, but 2 of my daughters were diagnosed as being autistic. It was then I kind of definitely knew.
Right, this is how I thought about my stammer, right? It's like someone in a wheelchair facing a flight of stairs, and it made lots of things impossible. So if you think of that flight of stairs as making a phone call, if you think of that flight of stairs as doing a presentation, there were things I just used to find impossible.
I think having a visual impairment, it affects you in a lot of ways, and it can be quite demoralising sometimes, and quite depressing when you sit down and think about the number of things that you actually need help with, and yes, we're very fortunate nowadays. We've got a lot of technology. There's lots of apps available out there. For example, there's Be My Eyes, and you can call somebody somewhere in the world and they can actually be your eyes, and you can show them a bottle of milk and they can check the date for you, or can check the colour of your top. So things have moved forward, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it can be quite isolating and quite stressful.
So I've got something called chronic exertional compartment syndrome, which basically just means that my muscles don't work properly. So I'm a bit limited in the sense that I can't walk very far, I can barely run at all. I can't stand for long periods of time, so networking events where you've got to stand, they're just literally a pain.
Sometimes I find it hard, or it's the information overload in my mind that I struggle with. I've got 1 extra chromosome, which makes me special.
I'm 6'1", I'm big. I don't look like what people expect somebody with a disability to look like, I suppose.
For a long time I was very hesitant to use the word disabled. I was very hesitant to consider myself disabled. I just thought I had an injury that was just temporary, much like if I'd broken my arm. If you break your arm, people don't expect your whole life to change. If you break your neck, it does. And I've also just become much more comfortable with myself as a disabled person, as that being part of my identity, and that while it does bring some challenges, it also brings a lot of positives. I'm much more resilient, I'm much more creative, I'm a much better problem solver because I have to literally do this every day.
There's that phrase, dance like no one's watching. We kind of live like that. We say what we want, we'll sing out loud, we'll dance out loud, we're just very unfiltered, honest, in-your-face people. That kind of leaving no word unsaid. If I like someone, I'm going to tell them everything I like about them.
Because I have a speech impediment, people think that I would never do anything like this. I would never have an online interview, I'd never do any public speaking. Well, I really like all this sort of stuff, and all people have to do is be a little bit more patient.
I'm now proud to identify as a disabled person.
I don't think disability is a dirty word. I'm quite happy to say I'm disabled. I know to some people they don't like that. Everything's very personal to the individual.
I think understanding that language is an important manifestation of our views of the world means that if we want to have positive views, progressive views around disability, we also need to think about the language we use. And then there's this broader point that it impacts people. When you say something to someone and you describe them in a particular way, that has an impact on them.
Personally, I don't think it's very important at all. I think it's the attitude with which the person is speaking to that's more important.
I think that for me, for example, if someone says to me, "See you tomorrow," I'm not too bogged down about the fact that I can't see them tomorrow, because it's a way of speaking, it's a manner of speaking, isn't it?
So the pandemic has been transformative in making work more accessible for people. I think that a lot of disabled people found it quite difficult to see society within a few weeks make the adjustments that people had spent like decades of their lives fighting for, with jobs being told that jobs couldn't be done remotely and not being able to work, and then seeing everybody managing to do it. But on the positive side is that has happened, and that hopefully coming out of this, now those improvements stay in place.
We really do need to start somewhere, right? We're not overnight going to make every space universally accessible, and disabled people are aware of that, and disabled people know that. I think there's a frustration on the part of how fast that change is coming, or how slow that change is coming, really. But it's definitely coming. I think that there's probably never been a better time to be disabled, and hopefully in the future that just continues to get better.
It's really, really difficult to run your own business, full stop. It's extremely difficult for someone who's disabled to run their own business. I think if I've got an idea in my head and I want to try it, I'm going to try it. Yes, I might make mistakes. Yes, there will be obstacles, but having a disability, you've got to be able to see beyond that, and just move forward.
I think we need to push campaigns that are for disabled people, run by disabled people. I really think we can achieve an inclusive society, because all we need to change is people's attitudes, right? We can achieve this.
And be proud of who you are, because even though I'm living with a disability, it doesn't really define me of who I am.